Hello, today I'm going to make a new weapon for Skyrim. Before we start, you need to download the following programs: the Fallout Mod Manager, Nifscope RC5, Blender, and GIMP. These are the best programs to use and they are all free. First of all, you're going to want to make your model. I have my model here. It's from the Argonian Import and Export mod on the Skyrim Nexus. I'll put a link for it at the bottom. First of all, you'll want to get the correct size for Skyrim. So go to your computer, your C drive, Program Files, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Skyrim, Data, and then go all the way down to Meshes. Open that up. It's quite a big file, but don't worry. For my file, I'm going to want to use the Daedric Warhammer as a base file, so I just pretty much copy all the things from the Daedric Mace to this. Let's look for Daedric. I think it's a Warhammer. Sorry. And you just export these two to somewhere where you can find them. On the other hand, I've exported the whole thing, the whole weapons thing, to my desktop. So, Daedric Warhammer. You need to open it up in Nifscope RC5. It might take a while to load, but don't worry. And here we go. Here is the Daedric Warhammer. This might all look confusing, but it's very simple, don't worry. So, you want to... This is the Warhammer part. File, Export, OBJ. Object file. Place it somewhere really easy to find, so your desktop, for example. And Daedric Warhammer. So to do this. And save. It will now be exported to your desktop. Here we go. Daedric. You have an OBJ and MTL. What we want to use the OBJ. So, File, Import, OBJ, back, and Daedric Warhammer OBJ. Now, it's always quite big, so you're going to need to size up. So you need to size up your original model to fit its size. Here we go, here it is. So rotate it 90 degrees, rotate it another 120. And size it up. Let's view top. It's a little smaller than the original Mace Warhammer, sorry. It doesn't really matter. So it fits quite nicely. I may want to size it up a little bit more. Just to maybe even a little more than that. Move it along the y-axis, and there we go. Almost perfect. Now we can delete the Daedric Warhammer. Now if I exit wireframe mode, and here's the Warhammer, the perfect size. So this Warhammer already has a UV map and texture. In the next video I will show you how to make the UV map and texture. But this video is just importing with Niscope. So now we file, export OBJ and to a desktop, and I'm going to call it Obsidian Warhammer and export OBJ. For the texture path, it needs to be Pacific. So at the moment it is in a PNG file, which is not the correct type for Skyrim. So I'll open it up in GIMP. Here it is. We'll need to export it as a DDS file, which is for Skyrim. You'll need the DDS plugin for GIMP, or if you're using Photoshop, you'll need the plugin for that. So warhammer.dds, export. Let's replace it. This is important. It needs to generate maps and DXT1. Okay. Just wait a second as it exports. Now we're going to need, that was a diffuse map. Now we need to do the normal map. This also requires a plugin. Click wrap and change the value to 4. This is the way I do it. I think it has the nicest result. And click OK. Now the image will come up a bluish colour, and now we export it, and I'll export it as Warhammer D, standing for normal map. Export. You need to call this one DXT3. Now, OK. Give it a second to load. Now, I need to press Ctrl Z to get back to the diffuse. And now I'm going to create the environment map. I'm going to desaturate it and click lightness. So click OK. This is too light for an environment map, so generally I go to levels, just darken it a little bit. This is good for faking the effect, but it's not perfect. Now, file, export as M. Export. Place. I'm going to call this one DXT1. Okay. Now just let it load. I need to go back to Blender and look at my file. This is for the custom blood effects. This is not compulsory, but it does make it look a lot better. So, what I'm going to do is I want to delete all the parts that you don't want to have blood on them when it hits the enemy. So I'm just going to have the top of the hammer, and press C for this. If I expand it, it's a nice circle. Press B and select this area. Delete vertices. Okay. Now we have the area which I want to have blood. File, export, OBJ. I'm going to name it blood.obj. Export. Now we're going to use Niscope. Remember, it's RC5 for weapons apart from bows. So we load our Daedric Warhammer, and here it is. We want to delete Daedric Warhammer Glow. This is not important. Open up Daedric Warhammer, and here we see knee tree shape data. We control delete that, and now we click knee tree shape and file, import obj, our Obsidian Warhammer. Here we go. It appears a greyish colour. We want to fix this, so we click on knee tree shape, right click, mesh, face normals. We also need to move down to the bottom to properties and change it from knee texturing property to 22 BS lighting shader property. Neither of these two are needed in Skyrim. Just delete it. Now we need to open up the blood, custom bloods. Now knee tree shape data, do the same thing again. Control delete and file, import obj, blood, open. Now this has appeared up here. For some reason this happens with this Warhammer. This has never happened before with any other weapon. First of all, we'll need to change this to its original, which was 5. Now we need to deal with the properties. Go down to the bottom and delete the knee texturing property. We need to have it to 12. Also delete these two. Now, what we want to do is convert these, control copy, and paste them in here. Control C, and finally Control V, and it fits very nice in there. We also need to do mesh face normals. Finally, we need to do the same for the other blood effect. Control delete, file, import obj, OK, and blood.obj. This was 9. Now we need to sort out the properties again. Go all the way down to properties and change the knee texturing property to 16. Just do exactly the same again. The more you do this, the quicker you get. This is all important if you want the blood textures to be perfectly aligned. Finally the scale. Oops, got to copy it. Here we go. We also want to change in Nitri shape data the number of UV sets. We need to change this to 4097. This is all the Nitri shape. And 4097. Here we go. What I might find easier is if I change the scale of both blood effects up by 0.01. Just so they don't clash. Actually, I might find the one that fits your weapon most best. I'll keep it at the original, as this is a complicated mesh, and whatever I do might make it mess up. So now we file save as, or no, you always want to keep on saving in case it crashes. So finally we need to put the texture paths in the correct place. So open up where you had your textures, add them here, and they were this one. I'll put this in here. And we're going to copy these into where we got our meshes from, the Skyrim data folder. Skyrim data, textures, weapons. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Warhammer and Troll. Now in here, I'm going to change all these texture paths to the correct place. So it was Warhammer, then Warhammer.dds. Now copy all of that along, paste it, and remember that we named all of them slightly different. Now this is the cube map. You can have a look at them if you like. These are for the shininess, I believe, but I think and this is the one for Daedric and Ebony weapons. I think it would fit this hammer quite nicely if it stayed at that. So now we are ready to file, save as, and we need to go to place again. Now I have a shortcut for weapons and call it Warhammer, and open it up and click and give it a unique name. So Warhammer. Save. Now you have made your NIF. You'll also want to do this for the first person Warhammer. We did it for the Daedric Warhammer, we want to do it for the first person Daedric Warhammer as well. Do the exact same method. Now we are done with that, we are going to want to open up the creation kit. If you don't have this, you have to go to your Steam and go on the where it says games, go under tools, and the creation kit is free to download if you have Skyrim. So all games and tools, and go and find creation kit. Here we go, and you just double click it to install. After the creation kit is loaded, you'll want to go to File, data and double click on Skyrim and click OK. Finally this is loaded. Now you want to go to all and type in Daedric Warhammer. Now there are lots of versions as enchanted, level lists, but what we want is this. So if we want to duplicate this, and give it a kind of a forward name. I call mine MFK, so I can find them easily, and I'm going to call it O War Tower. Now click edit, weapons, Warhammer, and Warhammer, and here we have it. Now click OK and OK. We don't want to create a new form as we've already duplicated it. Click no and yes. It will disappear. Don't worry, it is there. And we'll do the same for this, and I'm going to call it MFK O Warhammer Obsidian. Obsidian Warhammer. Now you can change everything about this. What I want to state is that you always want to have it on playable, and depending what type of weapon it is, two-handed and both hands. If you're creating a new weapon type, you need to use keywords, and you want to delete this, but only if you're creating a whole new weapon type. If you're not, you can just keep it a Daedric. Now you can edit the damage it does. So I'm going to boost it up and lower the weight to 29. Boost the speed up a little bit. Now, there are lots of menus that you can get used to. The more time you spend, the better it gets. So you want to find your model in here. This is why I've got a beginning through it, so I can just type in MFK, and here it comes up. Find the Warhammer again. And click OK. And enter. Great. No. Yes. And there we have our new Warhammer. I'm going to quickly show you how to create it so it's craftable and temperable. So I'm going to go to delete that, and I'm going to type in temper. Temper weapon, and I'm going to just duplicate the first one I see and edit it. And MFK, and here we go. I can change it to whatever I want to, so ingot, and then I don't know, ebony. Enter. I don't want to create a new form. Yes. I'm going to want to find a way to craft it. So if I go to iron sword, first one I can think of in my head, and then recipe, weapon, iron sword. And Warhammer, and MFK, and change the created object to MFK O Warhammer, and change. I want to change this so it fits the look of mine. So ingot, and generally for ingots I put about 1 or 2, and it also has an ingot of ebony on the top. Let me give that 1. Leather strips. Generally I put those about 2, and click OK. No. Yes. Now if I go back to MFK, here we have all the things that we need for a craftable Warhammer. If I want to play this in game, that's quite easy as well. If I go to Breeze Home, or let's place it in Whiterun. For big exterior world spaces, you want to be very careful in the object window, as you want to make everything go flying everywhere. There will be a few warnings. If you press M on it, that get rid of all the markers, sorry, and I want to place it next to the statue of Talos. Then press Y, and then drag O Warhammer just here. I can move it along the Z axis, and I press F. It will drop to the ground. There we go. Now I can just save and move, and then just save it as the name I want to call it. I want to call it O Warhammer. Save. Now, if I go in game, there should be a Warhammer there for me to use.